A 481 hitter, 8 long balls here in his first season on Rocky Top. It'll go Keelan, Fisher, Clark, and Chapman if we get down to him in the 5-hole spot today here in our first. The 1-0. It's really nice to look there. Of course, Tennessee loves to see Inslee in there, but you look at 2 and 3 and you see Keelan and Fisher batting right beside each other in this lineup. It produced a lot of power for Tony Vitello. Transfers from Louisville and Ole Miss.
Yeah, both immediate impacts since getting on campus. And for Inslee, imagine it's just an off day. Get the young man Jay Abernathy a start out there in center field.
Keelan ahead in the count, 3-0. Taking all the way, and James back into the count. Keelan, third team, all ACC a season ago in his time in Louisville, Kentucky. Had himself a fine week a week ago. Keelan swinging on that one and ranging to his left and making the grab is Mike Gunning for out number 2.
Gunning had him played perfectly there, kind of shaded into that left center gap and gets a really nice jump on it. But a good swing from Keelan. That one just a little too much backspin and hangs up long enough for Gunning to settle under it.
2 quickly gone with 7 pitches in the first. Andrew Fisher will step in. Fisher batting .325 on the season. 6 home runs, 15 RBIs. Very Drew Gilbert-esque in that left-handed batter's box. The Ole Miss to Tennessee transfer portal has worked out quite well for Tony Vitello as Fisher, that one runs foul. Fisher and Doyle, 2 impact transfers already with their fingerprints on this 2025 season. James will deal the 1-1. Pretty pitch there, off speed at 83.
Yeah, went changeup 0-0. Kind of faded off the plate, but really nice slider, kind of downward action from James there at 83.
Looking to work a quick first inning.
There's the changeup.
St. Bonaventure kind of in those two-tone tops today with the gray pants in Tennessee and what might be the best uniform in all the country in the Sunday cream uniforms. The 2-2 is slashed foul. I really like the stripe down the cream uniforms this season. I like the new touch there.
Like that touch? It's nice. Add a little accent to the uniform. I really like those two-tone Bonnies. I think those grays kind of flow together real nicely. There's not a whole lot you can do with brown, and their uniforms are certainly never going to be as bright as Tennessee's.
Fisher has worked all the way back in the count, 3-2. Seems like both teams decided to wear their Sunday best today. We appreciate that. Fisher making James work here in the first. Tennessee looking for their first base runner of the afternoon. The 3-2 upstairs, and Fisher works a full count walk. Number
Fisher.
22 on the year.
Yeah, he's way ahead of the pack. The next closest is Dean Curley at 16 walks.
To steal a line from Moneyball, he just gets on base to go along with those walks. Fisher's got 25 hits on the season. That'll be Levi Clark, the freshman, in the cleanup spot today. On inside in for a strike, 0-1.
Levi yesterday had 2 walks, and Abernathy in that same slot added a third.
Clark, a top 40 national player coming out of high school, out of the state of Georgia. Had himself a nice senior campaign. 38 hits, 30 RBIs, 9 homers, and he batted .427 for Walton High School in Marietta. And I don't think he skipped a beat, making his collegiate season debut. James 1-1. He'll check over on Fisher. Mentioned St. Bonaventure likes to run. Top 5 in the country in stolen bases. Tennessee does not. I've also talked about it this weekend. They just hit the ball over the fence. The 1-1. Way inside on Clark.
It's been predominantly off speed from Clark. He's been fairly cautious with the last few hitters. A lot of breaking balls and change-ups to Fisher. First 2 breaking balls to Clark. Does go with the fastball there, up and in. 88.
Clark's 2-1. That's off speed at 82. Clark, James, this his 4th appearance of the season. St. Bonaventure has lost all 3 matchups that he has appeared in. His longest outing came against Morehead State. 4 innings of work. Pitch to Clark. It is laced but foul. Tennessee was able to get to Michael Salina yesterday in their Saturday win. He's the top MLB prospect out of the Atlantic 10. And now looking to get to the Sunday starter today. Trying to get the bats off to a hot start here in the first. The 2-2. Inside on Clark.
So Fisher will be rolling on the 3-2 here. Anything in the gap should score from first.
They won't hold Fisher here. And he's off and running. Pitch to Clark. Hit high down the right field line. 3 Bonnies converging, and that one will get into the 7th or 8th row. St. Bonaventure with the lone hit in the first. Unable to capitalize on Tanner Franklin after 2 strikeouts. And now another Tennessee batter has worked to count full. Fisher drew a walk. He's over at first. And the 8th pitch of the AB to Clark is swung on and missed. Strike 3 as David James gets St. Bonaventure out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors in the inning as Clark swings and misses. We'll head to the second. 0-0 here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Knoxville.
Pitching for the Balls, number 25, Brandon Arvinson.
We head to inning number 2. An absolutely beautiful day at the ballpark. The fans enjoying the left field porches. This place filled in pretty nicely on Game 3 of our weekend series. Tennessee looking to go with an opener approach today. They'll head to the bullpen here in inning number 2. And someone a part of that history on Friday night was Brandon Arvidsson.
Yeah, the big lefty out of Dripping Springs, Texas. It's going to be over the top, low 90s, really explosive stuff. From the sophomore, started his career at Texas A&M, took a red shirt, and played a year of junior college ball in Texas, and makes his way to Knoxville. And we're very high on this young man. He did have an inning in Friday as a part of the no-hitter, so obviously he didn't give up any hits. Also had 2 punch-outs.
Arvidsson has worked 7 2/3 innings of work this season. 12 strikeouts, 4 walks. As my partner mentioned, an inning of work on Friday night and a win and a no-hitter combined for Tennessee. Face 5, 6, and 7 in this Bonnie order. It'll be Little, Kaufman, and Carruthers due up for St. Bonaventure. The 0-1. I'll check down. They say he did not go 1-1. Arvidsson has had 2 games this season with 2 innings of work. So I would imagine probably would not go too much farther over 2 innings. Worked an inning against Hofstra and then against St. Bonaventure. Inning in 2/3 against Arizona and 2 innings against UNC Asheville and Samford.
Yeah, he started a midweek game. He started on a Sunday earlier this year. He's coming out of the pen a couple times at different points in the game. But with Franklin only going 1 inning there and Arvidsson coming in the second, you would imagine we'll see several Tennessee arms today.
3-1 works low. It's the second walk he's given up this weekend, and Cam Little will lumber down to first base.
Now batting number 33, Harrison Kaufman.
Now Harrison Kaufman steps in to face Arvidsson. Played at Shoreline Community College for a couple of seasons. And now his second season in St. Bonaventure, New York. Looking to find just what would be the 4th hit of the weekend for St. Bonaventure. Just 1 run on 3 hits yesterday. But Arvidsson quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. And a good morning, good afternoon, good night. 3 straight strikes from Arvidsson, and he's got 1 gone in the second.
This is a hammer of a breaking ball, and Kaufman would like that swing back. Good old-fashioned sword.
Now the 7-hole spot in number 15. It's Brian Carruthers. First time we've saw him this weekend. Behind the dish. 2 new catchers in the starting lineup for any game this weekend is Carruthers and Stone Lawless. There's another one of those sword swings you were speaking of. And now after giving up that leadoff walk, Arvidsson 5 straight strikes. Looking to get 2 punch-outs. The 0-2. Just outside. He's giving me Xander Seacrest vibes with that hat coming off. Has quite the lettuce.
Got the headband on underneath. Trying to keep it all together.
Is 1-2. Called strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for the relief pitcher, Brandon Arvidsson, here in inning number 2.
You can see when he's in the zone, it's big-time stuff. That one at 91 on the inner half. The over-the-top curveball at 81, 82. When he's in the zone, he's going to be extremely effective.
That one fouled away by Alex Hebenstreet, listed as a utility player. 125 batter here in his junior campaign. And quickly 0-2. Arvidsson working inefficient last couple of batters here in the inning. Looking to get out of the second unscathed. The 0-2 to Heaven Street. Check down, he did not go. Will Posey behind the dish today. At first, Brian Peterson. Second is Derek Malika. And at third, it is Justin Robinson. And he went that time. After surrendering the leadoff walk, Brandon Arvidsson, 1, 2, 3, 3 strikeouts in a row for the lefty. And Tennessee will grab the bats, looking to open the scoring up here on Sunday.
Watching your diamond balls wouldn't be the same without quenching your thirst or satisfying that sweet and salty craving. Be sure to visit the concession stands throughout Lindsey Nelson Stadium. On the deck, we've got Moe's, Petro's, a beer kiosk, and a burger, steak, and cheese stand. And in the plaza, as well as down the left field line, there's a hot dog stand and additional beer kiosk. Even try some of this season's fall classics like the brand new brisket loaded mac and cheese or the cherry wood smoked brisket sandwich. Grab all of your favorite snacks when you watch the balls all season long. Go ahead and grab your phone and scan the QR code on the board now so you can guess the 7th inning stretch time. One lucky fan will go home with a big orange prize for guessing the correct time today.
There. Through 1.5 innings here in Knoxville. 5, 6, and 7 due up. Pleasure to be with you all this weekend. For Will Heflin, I'm Zach Nelson. Been a fun couple of days here on Rocky Top. Mentioned saw the history of the no-hitter on Friday night for Tennessee, first since 2002, and then Manny Marin with an electric moment, kind of like a signature moment, if you will, in his freshman season last night. And now Tennessee looking to break the scoring open today as Reese Chapman steps in. The junior has a hit in all 15 games. As he will still face David James, and he'll get underneath that one. That one hit deep out to left field, at the track, all the way back at the wall. The left fielder Gunning really had to reach up for that one, but that'll be out number 1.
Yeah, this one just kept carrying out to that left center gap. It was backspun pretty well by Chapman, but just holds up long enough to stay in the yard. Gunning with a nice job tracking it down.
Gunning making his first appearance in the field this weekend, occupying left field today. Now, last night's hero, if you will, I'm sure the fans here sent him home early. Manny Marin, 423 hitter here in his freshman campaign. And Marin gets underneath that one. A couple of steps in front of the warning track. Vosson's got it for out 2.
Second straight inning that starting pitcher James has had 2 really quick outs.
Was able to get the strikeout of Clark after giving up the walk to Fisher. And now another one of these talented Tennessee freshmen, Jay Abernathy, Into the box. Sees a strike, 0-1.
First career start today in center field. Gives veteran Hunter Inslee the day off.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Abernathy this season. Of course, you want to stand in there in the box and hit, but he has so much speed, and you can look over at third base and Kaufman. He's pretty far back behind third base. Obviously, he won't lay down a bunt with 2 strikes, but could be something you could see quite a few times from Abernathy. And he hits that one down the left side. Kaufman ranges down for it, can't keep it in front of him, and Jay Abernathy has Tennessee's first hit of the season. Or the Sunday, excuse me.
That's some pretty good timing right there. Talking about has the third base side open for a drag bunt if he wants it. But with 2 strikes, he might as well swing, but he does a good job of pushing it over there where there's some space, and I don't think Kaufman's throwing out Abernathy even if he's able to field that cleanly there. So Vols again get a 2-out base runner.
Abernathy a threat to steal. As Stone Lawless checks in, and Abernathy's off and running. Throwdown's a good one, but late. Abernathy with an easy stolen base. Abernathy now 6 for 6 on the season, stealing bags.
Yeah, gets a really good jump on this one, but it's also a breaking ball low and away from the catcher, Carothers, and he's just got no shot.
Does he take off for third here?
Probably not with 2 outs, but never know.
Here he goes. That one swung on, and Lawless lifts that one out of play.
He sure did take off. What do we know? Gets a rolling start there at second. James gives him the 1 look, and Abernathy had it timed up pretty good. Third baseman Kaufman's way back there as well with 2 outs. I think they're just going to give it up.
Does he decide to go the next pitch? I would think maybe put it on after this pitch, give him a little breather.
Marshall's creeped over a little closer.
Got the second baseman dancing behind him. He won't go, and that one launched left field. Back at the track and ranging in front of the track is the left fielder, Mike Gunning. He's been busy here in the second inning, but Tennessee strands the base runner in Jay Abernathy. We're through 2 here in Knoxville, looking for our first run on this Sunday.
So now 1 lucky fans going home with a gift card courtesy of our friends at Bojangles. Congratulations to Mary Mitchell. Make your way down the grandstands on the third base line to claim your prize at our Great Clips Fan HQ table. Fans, today's call to the bullpen is brought to you by Stowers Caterpillar, East Tennessee's heavy equipment dealer for over 60 years. Now pitching for the Vols, number 21, Tegan Coons.
To the third we go. Third pitcher fresh into the game for Tennessee. It'll be the right-handed pitcher, freshman Tegan Coons from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Started last Sunday in the finale in Houston against Arizona. Went 2 innings, did give up a run. Also made an appearance in one of the midweek games this week. Really, really, really talented arm out of Gettysburg. And for Tegan Coons, it's going to be 93 to 95 fastball with a ton of life. This freshman can really fill in multiple roles for the Volunteers as the season moves forward, but today gets the third as a part of a Johnny Hole staff.
Coons with a 2.08 ERA here in his freshman season, 1-0, 4 1/3 innings of work. Struck out 6, walked 1. There's 3 hits given up. They'll face 9, 1, and 2 in the St. Bonaventure order in the third, and he deals a first pitch strike 0-1 to Paul Vossen. Vossen here in his senior season transferred in from Utah Valley. Finished 10th in the WAC, Western Athletic Conference, in stolen bases. Vossen set that program record we mentioned yesterday of the 7 stolen bases in a game in a win over UT Martin. There's just one off from the Division I record, being able to tie it. And he's looking to work a walk to get on and try to steal a bag in the third. Vossen will see the 3-1 in. Swung on and missed, 3-2. Coons with the full count, and we'll draw a walk to Vossen. And 5 for St. Bonaventure has the wills to take off. So Tennessee will have to be mindful of that. And back to the top of the order, and Vircoloni.
So all 3 leadoff men have reached so far via the free pass. Franklin hit, Vircoloni. Arvidsson walked Little, and now Tegan Coons walks Vossen.
Coons is mindful of Vossen over at first. And Vossen, great jump there. He'll easily take the bag, standing up. And now he's going to take off for third. Throw down, not in time. Paul Vossen doing what he does for the Bonnies. Goes first to third with nobody out.
Yeah, Lawless had no chance on this one and sails over Keelan's head, and Curley was there for the backup, but gets away and gives up an extra 90 feet.
You could see Vossen stood up and thought about it for a second. He said, I wouldn't take third base. And that one popped up on the infield. Dean Curley is there. And a big first out for Tennessee in the third. Looking to strand Vossen at third.
Now batting number 2, Chris Holcraft.
Well, Tegan Coons in his inning against Xavier this Wednesday allowed the first 3 guys to reach. Leadoff man had a hit, and then he hit the next 2, and then struck out 2 in a row and got the final Musketeer to get out of it. That one at 95, kind of the roller coaster, if you will, of a young, talented freshman. You're going to get some really good, some not so good, but you can see when it's good that it's pretty electric.
Working here on the 2-hole batter, number 2, Chris Holcraft. Tony Vitello looking to empty that bullpen today. Now at the third arm we've seen thus far. And that one hit back up the middle. That'll be the first run of the ball game. It's an RBI single for Chris Holcraft, and St. Bonaventure jumps on the board first. It's 1-0.
Good piece of hitting here. You just want to get something in the middle of the field with the infield playing back to at least score the run. He gets the extra icing on the cake because it's able to squeak through for a single. So it's 1-0 Bonnies for the second straight day.
Mentioned it was 1-0 yesterday, and that was the only run that St. Bonaventure was able to muster across the board. It was in the first and now doing their damage in the third. David Marshall at the dish, 1 for 1 today. single back in inning number 1. Marshall, a .265 hitter. A senior on this upperclassman roster that is just lathered. Fisher seemed to think that he had gotten Holcraft at first. Coons has been mindful of the St. Bonaventure runners, and off and running is Holcraft. Good throw down from Lawless, and he's got it.
Surprised they're not going to ask for a review here. Coach Raz was looking at the third base coach, asking what he thought. Kind of had his hands out like, I'm not sure, but
Should be a good look here.
I think they are going to review it.
Ooh, his cleat caught the pant leg of Curley. That might have helped out Tennessee.
I don't know if Curley even made contact with him.
Might have got the jersey swipe there.
The throw definitely beat him. Now it just comes down to whether or not Curley actually made the tag. Kind of see the swiping motion there.
The left leg, I think, makes contact with the bag first. Or the right leg, excuse me. The left leg is hanging up in the air. I think he got him. It would have to be via a little jersey tag in there.
On the real-time review, it didn't look like Curley's glove changed course or slowed down in any way. It kind of, if he did make contact, it was barely. And maybe that sleeve of the jersey actually hit the top of Curley's glove on the way by.
I don't believe I see undisputable video evidence to overturn the call.
Call on the field was out. There's definitely contact between Holcraft's foot and Fisher's lower quad, but that wouldn't count as a tag. Has to be the glove.
Such an awkward slide there.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think this one will stay if I have to give a prediction. I don't think it's going to be confirmed. Probably have a stands.
I think you're 1 for 1 on the weekend. Call on the field was out. Well, Heflin's 2 for 2 on the weekend. Good call, partner. 2 gone for St. Bonaventure here in the 3rd.
It's the 3rd inning, and we've already had a review right. Beeping's gone. Things are looking up.
Life's good. I want to appreciate the gentleman that came in and was able to diagnose the problem for us and fix it.
Still have no clue what it was. But thankfully, he's smarter than us.
2-1 count on David Marshall Jr., who is 1 for 1 today. Had that single back in the 1st. Thinking back to that stolen base attempt, I wonder if Tennessee was throwing out there. It might have just got away from Coons, but Coons gets the strikeout. Big strikeout for Coons there here in the 3rd. As we will head to the bottom half of the frame. St. Bonaventure doing what they did yesterday, jumping out to a 1-0 lead. We'll see the Tennessee bats here momentarily. We welcome you back to Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll take a look at this week's version of the D1 baseball poll. 5 SEC schools in there. Question would be, does Tennessee put up a good enough effort this weekend to jump LSU?
Probably not. Just not saying Tennessee hasn't done enough to, but typically D1 baseball will hold what they've got, assuming everybody in their respective position takes care of business.
LSU has North Alabama today. Tigers 2-0 against North Alabama this weekend. The SEC, for the most part, has done what they've supposed to here in the final weekend before SEC play starts. Missouri has a couple losses against Binghamton this weekend. Auburn fell last night, as did Kentucky. Dalton Bargo grabs a bat into the 9-hole spot today. Seen him there all weekend. 233 hitter with 7 hits this season, 10 RBIs, and 4 home runs. One-0. Rolled outside 2-0.
Going back to the poll, the couple of teams just behind Tennessee in the top 10. Arkansas going for a sweep of Portland this weekend, up 4-1 in the 4th. Georgia just behind them, sitting at 6-7. They're up 1 on Columbia in the 5th, going for the sweep there as well. Both those teams have 1 loss on the season.
A lone SEC team not to play yesterday as Bargo draws a walk was Oklahoma. They're hosting Sam Houston this weekend. They'll play a doubleheader today. And we mentioned Florida yesterday played a doubleheader and winning both games and sweeping the series against the Harvard Crimson. Back to the top of the lineup for Tennessee. They've got the leadoff batter on in Dalton Bargo. Tennessee looking to open up the scoring for themselves today. And Curley lines that one back up the middle for a base hit. Bargo will round second, throw on the brakes, and Tennessee quickly with 2 on here in the 3rd.
Good swing from Curley here, just shoots it right back where it came from. Line drive up the middle, gets a first pitch breaking ball. Same thing he saw in his first at bat, and this time's ready to jump out and ambush it.
And really for the first time today, David James gonna have to throw some stressful pitches now with 2 on. And we're the nation's best hitters and Gavin Keelan due up. James pitch. Outside, 1-0.
Yeah, Keelan's first at bat stayed on a ball. Hit a line drive to left field that for Gunning. They've got him shaded very similarly here in this at bat as well. He's got a lot of room down the left field line to work with.
The 1-0. Bargo bluffed and will come back to second. Keelan, SEC Player of the Week. USA Baseball Golden Spikes Award National Player of the Week a week ago. Batted .611. Scored 9 runs, drove in 8. Accumulated 29 total bases, and then 7 of his 11 hits a week ago went for extra bases. He had 5 home runs. Kind of cooled off a little bit this weekend. Looking for his first hit of the day, lined out to the left fielder and Gunning all the way back at the warning track in the 1st. Now in full command of this count at 3-1. Feels like a big spot in this game for pitcher David James. as our beeping noise has returned. Keelan will see the 3-1 in. Off and running are the runners. Pitch high. It'll be a 5-pitch walk issued to Keelan. And the bases are loaded for Andrew Fisher. This is the team that leads the country in grand slams. They've got 8 in 15 games. And they're loaded for Fisher. And head coach Jason Rathman will come out and speak with James.
At this point, anytime there's bases loaded, it's almost impossible not to think about if you're the hitter. What's your thought process going up there, telling yourself, don't try to hit a homer, just try to put together a good at bat.
Tennessee's up to 4 grand slams on the week. Midweek against Austin Peay. 3 grand slams in a game, 2 in an inning, both tied NCAA Division I records.
Will Posey is having a pretty long discussion with the battery and Coach Raz. We're probably asking about a couple of those pitches that were just off the outside of the plate there to Keelan. Don't typically see the umpire engage in that much conversation on the mound, but maybe just explaining what he saw. And here's Fisher.
The NCAA record for grand slams in a season by team is 14. That will advance the runners on the wild pitch. Bargo scores. We're tied at 1.
First pitch curveball, and it gets away from the catcher, and there goes your grand slam opportunity. But the Vols will take the run nonetheless.
All base runners move up. Now 2 in scoring position for Andrew Fisher. Curley at third, Keelan at second. The 1-0 from James. Low again. Nice stop behind the dish from Carruthers. That's rough for James after the meeting on the mound and then yank one. And Tennessee's got their first run of the ball game. Looking to add to it here in the third. That one low.
Yeah, second time through the order, Tennessee hitters a little less aggressive on those breaking balls, and James has fallen behind a couple counts here in this inning.
Infielders are in. On the 3-0, Fisher will ground that one foul. See if Ross Kivitt can make a play. Of course he can.
Former Big 12 Player of the Year at Kansas State, Ross Kivitt. Still got it.
Still got it indeed. I love watching Josh Elander at third. He never moves. He just stands there when a ball comes by him, as I guess you should as a base coach. That one hits sky high. And to left center field, Curley. They don't communicate again, and that'll allow a run to score easily. Moving up is Keelan. It's a sacrifice fly, and a run scored for Andrew Fisher. Tennessee has jumped in front 2-1.
Ends up being Vossen to make the catch. Yeah, like you said, seemed like both guys were calling it, and that one could have easily been disaster. They made contact before the ball ever found a mitt. Fortunate to hang on there.
This Philly really feels like the same game script of yesterday. Same Bonaventure jumped out to a 1-0 lead, and Tennessee had hit here, a run there, and finally added up. And then Manny Marin just unloaded to send this crowd home happy. Tennessee leads 2-1 here in the third. Levi Clark at the plate, looking to keep that batting average over 500 as it stands at an even 500. And he blasts that one. Right field, track, wall, see ya.
Oh, my Lord.
Levi Clark with home run number 6 here in his freshman season, and 30 does not look like a freshman.
That's one of the furthest opposite field home runs you're going to see. Goodness gracious, this kid is strong.
Now batting, the right fielder, Reese Chapman.
Watch out if you got a vehicle parked out there. Levi Clark, have yourself a freshman season, young man. And Tennessee, who is quiet for the first 2 innings of this one, puts up a 4 spot on the board in the third.
About 101, 370 going the other way.
Kid can rake. Now Reese Chapman, who is 0 for 1 today. 358 hitter. Fouls that one off. Credit James, first couple of innings, really worked efficient, quick innings. But it has been all but that in the third.
Yeah, leadoff walk scores what feels like 90% of the time in baseball. Just gave the ball something going there early in the inning, and definitely capitalized.
To use a cliche, I feel like if you give this Tennessee lineup an inch, they'll take a mile. It's just so hard to face a lineup 1 through 9 with the power that this Tennessee roster has. 1-2 to Chapman, down low.
You quoted Moneyball earlier. And that same thought. When the other team makes mistakes, don't interrupt them. Take a couple walks, and those typically lead to runs.
What a movie.
That one from old Billy Bean.
Would you say that's the best baseball movie out there? There's not many.
You know, my favorite's a little different. I grew up watching this one at my grandparents' house all the time with my cousins, Little Big League. Love that movie, but there's a ton of good ones.
That one hit sharply right side, but played right in the glove of David Marshall Jr. for out number 2.
Now batting, the third baseman, Manny Marin.
That one barreled up nicely, but went right where Marshall was playing.
Yeah, nice job to sit on that one. Kind of let it come to him. He knew he was going to get that one hop, and it was hit so hard that it's going to stay on that line for him. Plays it nicely off the turf.
Something I guess we didn't acknowledge thus far. Tennessee has 4 freshmen in the lineup today. And all have done damage. Clark with the home run. I guess Marin's damage was done yesterday. Abernathy's got a hit. Lawless has a runner thrown out at second. Marin looking to do his part today. Rolls over that. One's going to be a tough play from the seat of his pants, and he is safe. There you go. All 4 of the freshmen impacting this ball game today for Tennessee.
Kaufman from a seated position actually makes this relatively close. He has to roll over and doesn't have time to stand up, so just sitting on his backside, tries to get as much as he can on it. Really just a good job to even make it a catchable throw, but Marin able to beat it out. Really good young athlete. Here's another one of those freshmen you just mentioned.
It's kind of a nice play from Kaufman there.
It was.
Now he's going to cheat in. Marin's off and running. Jay Abernathy had the bunt down, pulls it back, and Manny Marin's got a stolen base. Tennessee, a team that doesn't steal much, has 2 today, both by freshmen.
They do. Both these guys really quick twitch athletes and good runners. Marin gets a good jump there. It's nice to have in the tool belt for sure.
Mentioned Abernathy 1-1 today with that single. That one hit left side. It's another single. Jay Abernathy's going to drive in a run. It's an RBI single for Jay Abernathy. Tennessee's blown it open in the third. It's 5-1.
That's why you steal. Very next pitch, Abernathy drives him in with a 2-out RBI.
Credit the #1 recruiting class from 2024. 4 runs accounted for in this inning. A 3-run home run from Clark, and then Abernathy driving in Marin.
See how long Abernathy stays over there at first. I would imagine he'll want to be in scoring position for redshirt freshman Lawless, but Lawless, a lot of pop in there. May not want to run yourself out of this inning.
Jay 6 for 6 on stolen bases here in his freshman season. You look up at the pitch count for David James, now up to 58. Will deliver number 59 here. But he's worried about Abernathy, and I don't blame him. Abernathy's off and running, and that one's not going to matter. Stone Lawless blasts that one out to left. At the fence, it's gone. 2 home runs on the day for Tennessee. They're both by freshmen, and they have jumped in front 7-1.
Yeah, I don't think this one was a hit and run per se, just a straight steal. Kind of turns into a run and hit, and Stone Lawless decided to score Abernathy. Figured he'd go ahead and drive himself in too. This is a towering shot out to the deepest part of Lindsey Nelson. Second home run of the year for Lawless.
Got a beautiful swing path there from Lawless.
Yeah, got right on plane with that one. Here comes Coach Raz.
That'll be the day on David James. This Tennessee baseball lineup just doing what they do, putting up crooked numbers on the board, and a touchdown scored in the third will be the day on David James. New pitcher will emerge from underneath Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Tennessee looking to add to their already 7-1 lead. 7-1, Tennessee leads in the third. The damage has been done against this St. Bonaventure staff, a team that comes in today 7-6 overall. They were off to their best 10-game start since 2016 as they started 7-3, but lost in the midweek to Vanderbilt, now 2 here to Tennessee. They'll turn to the senior lefty, Cade Walker from Chicago, Illinois.
6'3", 195 from Walker. Going to be a mix of a couple different breaking balls and a mid to upper 80s heater. Work off the changeup as well. He'll face Dalton Bargo, who started this inning with a walk.
Tennessee is batted around here in the third. Looking to add to their 7-1 lead. Mentioned Dalton Bargo back to the plate. Walk, came around to score that first run of the game. Came off the wild pitch. Pitch there from the lefty, Walker. He's got an 18.0 ERA, 1-0 on the season. 1 strikeout to 5 walks, and he's given up 6 earned runs. And he gives up a ball there to Bargo, and that one will settle down in right center field, but not before. Tennessee with 7 runs in the inning. The damage has been done here on Rocky Top. We'll move to the fourth. You're watching us live here on the SEC Network Plus and the ESPN app.
Successfully stole a base last inning, so now one lucky fan's going home with a gift card courtesy of our friends at Bojangles. Congratulations to Christina Iberman. Make your way down